Hello. This is a Pup in the Life, and we have tried to record this podcast before. Yes, we did, and it's actually in the car because it's raining too much. Cool. So, in today's podcast, we are going to talk about something that we tried to talk about like an hour ago before. But unfortunately, Mom has forgot the mic in her pocket. Therefore, the podcast was just so you could hear basically nothing, unfortunately. So the thing with that is we need to re-record it again. It's going to be shorter. It was around 10, 11 minutes or something, but we had lots of shit to do today. So this is what we're up to. Moreover, it rains. I'm with my sister, Ambra, trying to cool down, dry up a bit, and yeah, this is today's podcast. You don't know Ambra so much, but somehow sometimes she appeared on this podcast as well. So in today's podcast, negotiations. So Mom is a big fan of Chris Voss, FBI negotiator, former FBI negotiator, and so he talks about, so very nice, very nice guy in terms of what he offers to the public. And the interesting thing is that this guy is sharing his FBI experience to make you better, to make us all better in negotiations. So one of the things he says is that usually negotiation was seen as a zero-sum game for a long time. But so the goal was to set as much out of the interaction as possible, but always that it was at your opponent's expense. And this is how on Masterclass they actually present his course. And your counterpart was your enemy, and the negotiation itself was a battle. But what we need to understand is that this is actually not true. The enemy is the common problem that you need to solve together. And so if you start thinking about every deal, in general, every thing that you're going through in life, and especially also like in sales, because that's what we're also going to talk about in this podcast as a founder, you're trying to solve a common problem if you're both in the deal. Maybe somebody's gonna buy, so let's say you sell phones, somebody needs connectivities. Your objective is to sell the phone. The objective of the other person is actually to solve their connectivity problem, but you're actually talking about the same thing, that from on your angle is to solving their problem through selling your stuff, and on the other hand is solving their problem, so their own problem, by buying your stuff. So it's kind of counterintuitive if you think about it, but even if it sounds obvious, the thing is that unfortunately what you're going to look at is that most people are going to engage in things that are not actually deals, but they're going to engage in those no matter why and how, and without even knowing that. And so if you find yourself in a situation in which you're trying to sell to somebody, maybe even they reached out to you, and you find they keep finding excuses, they don't even have a price, and they start talking about budget. They are very confusing in what they communicate. They are not giving you the best tools to deal with the negotiation that we know is a thing, is an event, is a relationship, is a happening where everyone, so both parties or more, walk away equally unhappy, just as somebody wrote on Mom's LinkedIn post a couple of days ago. And you will find yourself in that situation thinking, okay, like I left something, but at least we had a deal and the thing is happening. Otherwise, just like as Voss says, you're going to find yourself in a situation in which hopefully you had your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So you will find yourself living things on the table without any deal. That's because it was not negotiated, but at least I don't know, you learned something or you obtained something for yourself. You might go to court or whatever. Anyways, the thing is that not all sales transactions that are in the pipeline, not all prospect, all leads are gonna actually be a situation of deal, of negotiation. Why? Because the person on the other side needs to be on the same side of yours to be solving the issue. And it's not quite obvious because it might just happen that you will find yourself just dealing with something and start doubting of your own moves because that person doesn't give you feedback, doesn't find a way to make you both equally unhappy and to make the deal happen. So to be on the same side and solving the problem. So there are ways to recognize this. It's mostly out of experience, but I outlined some. If they start giving you out excuses, start wasting time, they don't have a clear objection. Maybe you're not gonna find it because it's just a crunching of objections that are not, just there yet. They talk about price, or budget, but you haven't talked about price. They usually don't have power in the transaction, so you actually don't have a way to understand and to engage the person because at some point it would still handle the transaction in to somebody that has power, that it's not them. So there are lots of examples of that. But in your life, you're going to find many of those, including investors. And the best thing is recognizing them and stop wasting time with them because you know that at some point, your solution is going to be just focusing on those deals that are actually deals, potential negotiations, because no matter how much effort you put into the thing, if they're not willing to negotiate, you're not going to negotiate with them. Or not actually in the best of possible alternatives. So if your best possible alternatives to a negotiated agreement is still there, you're probably going to go to that without even all the hassle and pain of negotiation, because it's never going to lead you to anywhere. You might spark hints. You might give them some ideas. You might just I don't know. You might find ways to keep bouncing to these people, to keep giving them the tools and to make a better informed decision. But if they're not open to negotiating, you're not gonna find your way in. So it's best if you concentrate in something else. Now you might say, "Oh, but this one time happened, they changed their mind." Yes, they might change their mind, but it's good if you focus on actually qualified negotiation prospects for you, your business, and your life in general. So this was a podcast for today. It was a bit more messy last time with the dogs and whatnot with my sister Ambra. But yeah, unfortunately, Mom forgot the mic. So this is all for today. Have a happy Monday, an amazing week ahead, and sending you lots of kisses, hugs, and a bit of barks.